this webinar will be recorded, just so that if there are any students who are not able to attend due to classes or anything like that, we will have a recording for them. So the format of this afternoon's panel will be brief introductions of our panelists, followed by some questions that I have prepared for them. About halfway through, we're going to switch over to Q&A from the audience. So feel free to put your questions in the Q&A box at any time throughout the panel. So to get started, I'm going to introduce our wonderful panelists. They'll also be sharing a little bit more about their roles and their organizations throughout the panel. And my colleague Caroline is here with us. She's the Assistant Director of Employer Engagement in the Career Center. And she will be putting links to each of their organization in the chat as we go through. And she's also going to be helping to facilitate the Q&A. So thanks for being with us, Caroline. So first, we welcome Peter McGrath, who is the Talent Manager at Echo Lake Entertainment and also a BC alum. Peter's organization is a film and television production, finance, and management company based in Beverly Hills. So thank you for being with us, even though it is still morning there where you are. Next, I want to welcome Molly Phelps, who's the Academic Programs Manager at the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum, and also another BC alum. The Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum is an art museum in Boston, which houses significant examples of European, Asian, and American art. And its collection includes paintings, sculpture, tapestries, and decorative art. Next, we have Michael Bobbitt, who is the Artistic Director at the New Repertory Theater. New Rep is an award-winning professional theater located in Watertown. And New Rep stages contemporary and classic plays and musicals, including world premieres. And finally, we want to welcome Erika Sheridan, the Senior Manager of University Relations at Ogilvy. Ogilvy is a New York City-based British advertising, marketing, and PR agency, and they provide services in multiple areas, including brand strategy, advertising, customer engagement and commerce, PR and influence, digital transformation, and partnerships. So thank you again for all of you for joining us. So before we jump into specific advice that you have for students, I was wondering if each of you could share a little bit about your career path and how you got into your current role. So Molly, do you mind starting us off?
Yeah, sure. I'm happy to. Excuse me. Hi, everyone. I'm so glad to see all your names. I see some familiar names, so I'm glad to be here today. But yeah, so tell you a little bit about my career path. So I graduated from BC in 2014 with an art history degree. And right after that, I entered into a master's program in art history at Case Western Reserve University in Cleveland, Ohio. I'm originally from Western Pennsylvania, so it was pretty close to family. And while I was there, I entered into the program thinking that I was going to go into academia. And while I was at the program, it was jointly administered through the Cleveland Museum of Art. So I spent a lot of time in the museum, and it really made me realize my love of working with people and with objects at the same time. So after that, I moved back to Boston. I had a couple internships, one at the MFA and one at the Gardner Museum while I was in grad school. Settled back down in Boston, and then worked for an organization called the Trustees of Reservations, which is kind of a statewide organization in the state of Massachusetts that has cultural institutions, like cultural heritage sites, historic houses, but also protects like wetlands, has beaches, public parks. So it was really an interesting place to work. I was working as their curatorial fellow there, and eventually moved into the role of collections manager. And then a few years later, a position opened up at the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum in the curatorial office. So I moved into that position. I was the collections cataloger and administrator. And as of October of last year, so I'm just over a year in a new role at the Gardner called Academics Programs Manager, where I work primarily with college and university audiences and manage our paid internship program for Bunker Hill Community College students called Gardner Ambassadors. So that's kind of me in a nutshell.
Thanks. Peter, do you want to go next?
Sure, absolutely. My name is Peter McGrath. I graduated BC 1993. I'm old. So after college, I was really interested in the entertainment business. I loved film and television, and I had visited my cousin who was out here. He's an actor, and I just decided I was just going to come out here and give it a shot. And I started with a temp agency here that specialized in entertainment companies, and they sent me to a few different places, which was great because I got to see what everyone, all the different aspects of the entertainment business is about. And I thought I wanted to be an agent, and I realized I didn't once they sent me to a management company, because it was a little bit more personal, a little bit more casual, less structured, didn't have to wear a suit. And I really enjoyed that sort of hands-on sort of dynamic with the clients. And so I sort of started at the bottom. I started as a delivery boy at one of the management companies, management production companies. They promoted me into the mailroom, which is sort of, you're delivering at that time faxes and scripts and things like that. And then I got onto a desk, which is a very common way of learning everything in this business. I was an assistant to a manager and then worked for him for 2 years. And then I was promoted to become a manager. And since then I worked at a few different places in the company where I am currently. I've been there for 5 years, and I've sort of found a nice sort of niche of working with younger international actors. And during my childhood, I lived all over the world. So it was just very normal and natural for me once I started in this business to work with international actors. And that's something I really enjoy doing. And that's now it's, a few years later, and here I am still here.
Great, thank you for sharing. And then Michael, you want to go next?
Sure. Like Peter, I also graduated college in the late 1900s. My career in the arts started in Act 3 of Hansel and Gretel. I was one of 3 Hansels, and my mom said it was the best act, but she's a little biased. Through elementary school and middle school and high school, I kept studying dance and music, trumpet, in fact. Went to college on a trumpet scholarship, did theater a little bit here and there. Decided to leave college studying classical music and moved back to New York, actually to DC, to study classical dance at the Washington Ballet and the Dance Theater of Harlem, and then decided to leave classical dance and moved on to theater and went to 2 different training academies in New York, NYU Tisch School of the Arts and the American Musical and Dramatic Academy. Spent a good 10 years gigging, touring, regional theater, summer stock, and moved back to DC in the mid-1990s. Late 1990s, I can't remember. I decided to make DC my home. My ex and I adopted a baby boy from Vietnam, and when he came home, I realized that going to the theater every night and performing was not fun. I was missing him, so I shifted to teaching theater and dance. Taught at a bunch of different universities as an adjunct and associate professor, and then decided to move into directing and choreographing and writing and whatever would pay the bills, and use that time to start learning theater management, finance, fundraising, governance, etc. And then got a job as the director of touring productions at the Smithsonian, which taught me a lot about big bureaucracy and administration. And then happened upon a job at Adventure Theater, which I was at in DC for many years, and used that title to get in all the rooms that I could get into, and boards I could get on, and training programs to sort of further my skill as a leadership. And came to New Rep last summer, and I'm in my 15th month, and in my 3rd month as associate professor of theater, teaching musical theater to sophomores at Boston Conservatory.
Great, thank you for sharing your path. And Erika, do you mind rounding us out here?
Yes, and please excuse my 5-month-old daughter, Kara. She's going to make a guest appearance throughout this entire time because that is the beauty of being a working at home mother in COVID land now. So
I love it.
Here's some random peeps, or I have to mute myself all of a sudden. I apologize. So hi everyone, wonderful to meet you. I'm so glad to be here. Like she said, my name is Erika Sheridan. I unfortunately am not a BC alum. I went to Temple University in Philly where I studied advertising, but my sister actually got her graduate degree from BC, so there is definitely a close place to my heart. So I studied advertising and I joined Ogilvy straight out of college actually back in 2015. I was part of something called the Associates program that we have here at Ogilvy, which is a rotational leadership program. So I got to spend a year rotating through different parts of the business. I rotated in client services roles and strategy roles, mostly across a lot of different types of clients, pharma, healthcare, a chocolate brand, American Express, Gerber. So it really kind of spanned both B2B and B2C work. Did that for a year. Then I placed full-time in client services or account management. And after actually only a few short months, I got the opportunity to swap over to the HR side of things to manage these programs. So I now actually manage the associates program, our summer internship programs, and any really university relations work that we have for half my job. And then the other half of my job is learning and development. So basically creating training, programming, sponsorship programs, any kind of culture, mentorship opportunities for our US employees.
Great, thank you all so much for sharing. Definitely a theme we've been kind of hearing all week is that everyone has such unique career paths, and there's not just like one way to get to a certain role or one particular career path that you're supposed to follow. So I always love starting with that just to get to know you all a little bit more. So something else I often hear from students is this nervousness when they're going into their job search in communications or arts or media, because they feel like it's a little less clear than say something like accounting, where it seems like there's very specific steps to take. And a particular majors that they should have. So I'm wondering if you could talk a little bit just about what does recruitment look like in either your organization or your industries, and how can students or recent grads, prepare to apply at an organization like yours?
You have jump in. I have a big philosophy about recruitment, and partly because of race equity and wanting to make sure that everyone gets a shot. So for us at New Rep, we went back when I started there, and I've been practicing this for many, many years as a leader of organizations. But going back and looking at our job descriptions to make sure that we lead with our race equity statement, make sure that our qualifications have nothing that could be othering. So we're not asking for advanced degrees. We're not asking for numbers of years of service. In fact, our qualifications are based on the culture that we have. So things like must love theater, or must be fun, or must be a team player, or must be a hard worker. Those are the qualifications. And then we invite people to apply and send whatever they want to send. It shows us why they are right for the company. And in the interview process, we're trying to get to the cultural fit. To me, culture is everything. And so when we are looking for people, we are specifically looking for people that's going to fit the family, that's going to get who we are, going to help us sort of advance the mission that we have. So I don't necessarily believe in a traditional path. I mean, when I grew up, you needed to pick your career at a certain age, and you were on that track starting in middle school, and you went to college to get those degrees and then those degrees. And I don't know if the world operates like that nowadays. I think people are pulling together these hybrids and sort of defining their own path and going where they feel like they can make a difference. So I look for people who are going to make a difference. I support their career goals. So we do a lot of professional development that the company pays for, and hopefully people can come into the company, do what they want to do for as long as they want to do, and then go on to the next place.
I can go ahead next while she's being quiet. So just to make sure I'm understanding the question, it's like, what are you looking for in candidates? How do you typically recruit people?
Yeah,
okay.
Perfect.
So for, in advertising, obviously we're looking for different things across specific roles, but I really like what Michael said about, it's not just about your hard skills, it's really about who you are as a person. We very much believe in that. And I think that that's important for you guys to think about in terms of the companies that you're looking at. It's just as much of an interview for you as it is for us. And so, for example, the program that I recruit for, the associates program, that rotational program, we're obviously looking for people who are kind of like general managers, people who can float across lots of different crafts and departments, who can play a different type of role, work with different types of people. So we're looking for more general soft skills, and that's just how people behave. So we actually have an entire, you gonna be quiet for me? Thank you. We have an entire event that we call Super Saturday. That's our last and final round of interviews for our associates. And it's actually an event where it's meant to be as unbiased as possible, meaning we actually don't allow the assessors at Ogilvy to know the candidates' names, see their resumes, know what their background is, what school they come from, nothing. all we do is create these assessment centers, basically, where we put them in different exercises, group, partner, individual, whatever it might be, and then have Ogilvy assessors just observing them quietly in the moment, seeing how they're working with others, seeing how they're problem solving, thinking strategically, and then assessing based on what they're observing. And that way, we're hoping to remove as much bias as possible. It's a really specific, interesting, unique way to recruit, but it's brought forth amazing, unique, diverse group of talent, in my opinion. And we've had a lot of success with it. I'd say like the few skills that really span across our great associates or interns is adaptability. It's a rotational program, so we're hoping you can adapt to the different rotations, but also like in advertising, clients come and go every day. Projects come and go every day. You'll be asked to work on a client and the next thing you know, we're pitching a new business. So we need you to spend 50% of your time pitching. So it really is just dependent on, you know, what our needs are, and anyone who can take that on as a welcome challenge is great.
I can speak a little bit. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, with my business and talent representation, you can't learn what we do in school. I mean, it's just not like that. I mean, where I learned was really when I was someone's assistant and really learned everything and being on all the calls, seeing what goes on. That was sort of how I learned, and anybody really learns in this business. So there's not something specifically we're looking for in terms of a resume. Like Erika and Michael, I think, you know, our company culture is very, very specific, and we're looking for a good fit. We luckily are very well respected in terms of our honesty and our integrity, and we expect that everybody that works with us follows that same path. In terms of recruitment, we're always looking for great people, regardless of their backgrounds, really. And sort of, you know, we figured out with COVID recently is that there are a lot of people that are successful in our business because of the privilege that they've had being able to afford to come to LA and spend the summer here, or having great connections through family. And so we really put our heads together. It's like, what about those people that can't afford to have a car, that don't live in LA, can't afford to come to LA? So we've really been doing a lot of outreach, and we recently sort of had a mandate. We have different divisions. I'm on the executive diversity search committee, and we have one for assistants and one for interns. And what we're really sort of wanting now is we realize that we can find people from all over the US, all over the world, frankly, that can be doing this virtually, and especially with our interns. And we're really trying to, part of why I reached out to BC was because, you know, it's not necessarily known for its entertainment department, right? And we really wanted to reach out to certain places that weren't traditionally, people didn't think to reach out to. So we've been really making it a priority for ourselves to throw the wide net and find people that are excited about our business, but didn't think maybe they had the means or the ability to do it in a traditional way. So we want to open our arms and say, like, you can do it this way. Let's do everything virtually. And I think that's going to be something that even after, you know, hopefully we'll all go back and can see each other in the office again, we're going to want to continue that, because we really want to have of people of all different backgrounds working with us.
Yeah, and I'll just jump in, jumping off of kind of Peter's comments about, you know, how we're operating and kind of doing this during the pandemic and what that means for our hiring too. You know, I think so many cultural institutions right now are you know, hurting and kind of going through a lot of difficulty. And you know, I feel very grateful to be at the Gardner Museum. It's one of the few museums in the state that hasn't had to, you know, furlough staff or, you know, make those types of cuts. So hiring is, you know, happening. It's happening much more slowly than maybe it was before, and it's really, you know, happening differently. So you know, part of my work that I do in managing this internship program for Bunker Hill Community College students is working really closely with HR. And I love hearing, like, Peter, Michael, and Erika, all these ways that you're, you know, taking bias out of your hiring practices. And that's so much kind of what we're trying to do, you know, with this program itself. You know, part of that, the purpose of the program is really to have an equity focused mission for kind of this individual program itself. So recognizing that a lot of students at community colleges perhaps haven't had the opportunity opportunities to work in museums. There are these positions that are typically unpaid. I know when I was an intern, I was working unpaid internships. I had the privilege to be able to have support from family to be able to have those types of opportunities. And that's not the case for everyone. And that's a huge barrier in entering into these fields. So, having this program is one of the ways that we're trying to do that. But then in, kind of working, with this program, which is really new to the Gardner Museum, it's giving us a lot of great lessons about how to, manage a group of students that, typically might not have felt welcome in the museum itself, a museum that really, for the most part, had served only a white audience for a huge part of its history, and kind of thinking about how to broaden our narratives, how to make everyone feel welcome inside the museum or inside the offices of the museum itself. So it's really an ongoing it's an ongoing conversation. We're never going to be done doing this work. It's going to kind of keep continuing. And so to go back to that question of, kind of the types of candidates that we're looking for in all of the hiring that we do, I think folks who really have, a perspective that's a little bit of an outsider perspective for a museum. I think that's really the exciting thing that a lot of us working in museums are looking for, especially now, working in a pandemic where everything we used to do is turned on its head. Programming is happening virtually instead of in person. Really having people who are ready to be nimble and to try new things and to take risks, I think is really important.
Thank you so much. It's amazing to hear how you're all working towards breaking down those barriers to entry in your respective fields. That's something I have a lot of conversations with students about, of can I even get into the museum field, or how do I get a job in film without moving to LA? And something else you mentioned is, unfortunately, there are a lot of unpaid internships in these industries. And I'm really excited to be a part of something at BC called the Eagle Intern Fellowship, which offers funding for unpaid internships. So for any of the students who are listening, if that's a barrier for you, make sure you connect with us, and hopefully we can help you, provide you with some funding. So Molly and Peter, you actually kind of started to hit on what I was going to talk about next, which was the impact of COVID-19. I know we're probably all tired of talking about this topic, but it does come up with our students of, are there even jobs out there? What does it look like? So I'm wondering if maybe Michael and Erika, if you can talk a little bit about that, since you didn't get to really touch on the impact of the pandemic too much on your hiring.
Yeah, absolutely. So we were on a hiring freeze for a little bit, but that's since been lifted. We are hiring people on an as-needed basis. The programs that I'm recruiting for, the internship and associates, they start in 2021 anyways. So we're hoping maybe at some point mid next year things could look a little differently. Either way, we want to be committed to these programs and move forward. But yeah, we are hiring. And in fact, actually, like some of our business, our business was definitely hit. I'll be totally transparent. I'm a very, very transparent person, by the way. So like, please, if we open this up to Q&A, ask me anything. I'm happy to answer. We had to go through a round of furloughs and layoffs. It was tough. But proudly, we've brought back a lot of people that were furloughed for a short amount of time. And then actually, some pieces of business have been doing pretty well, because we do have a lot of government work in DC, and we have a lot of health pharma clients, which obviously are extremely important right now. So we're kind of in this like in between, where some of our clients were hit pretty badly, some are actually growing, but we are hiring. So we're in an okay place right now. And also, I'm sorry that I'm sitting on the ground. My daughter's happier on the ground, so this is what it is.
No worries, she's adorable. We like to see her.
I love it. I'm obsessed with your little window right there. New Rep had struggles in the 3 years prior to me getting there. They had suffered years of deficits and debt, and 50% of the patronage dropped in 3 years prior to me starting. So this year was a good year to start the recovery, and we actually did really, really well this year. We increased audiences by 26% and earned revenue by 43% and contributor revenue by 33%. So when the pandemic hit, we had so much money. And then we applied for everything. In fact, what I did was I told everyone's now fundraising. And we're a small company, so we're a staff of 10. So I had everyone writing grants, everyone researching grants, and we just applied for all the money we could get. Well, it worked, because we ended the year with $150,000 surplus on our $1.9 million budget. and a bunch of really great grants that came in. And partly too, we got a lot of money because we were out front in the race equity push to change things. So I got a lot of money from grantees that gave it to us because we were doing race equity work. And then our donors just showed up. So I got lucky. I ended the year with about $500,000 in cash in the bank, which is something New Rep hadn't seen in a long time. And so I didn't have to fire or lay off or furlough anyone. In fact, we added one person to the staff because we're trying to build up our fundraising department. We are good for the next year, and then we have to make some decisions. And so far, things are going well this fiscal year, even though we are making up programs every single week to keep up with the changing times. But I'm hoping that things will be fine and that the staff that I have sort of trained and put along with me, they know how to run the ship and they know how to bring in money and keep expenses low. So hopefully we don't have to lay anyone off or lower costs.
That's great. It sounds like some really incredible improvements since you've joined New Rep. I know Molly and Peter, you got to touch on it a little bit. Is there anything else you wanted to add before we go over to Q&A?
I mean, for me, it's we've actually hired some new three different execs during this time. So we've been okay. Luckily, we haven't had to furlough or let anyone go. It was really very important to us not to, because a lot of companies in LA, other entertainment companies have had to make a lot of changes. But so we've been fortunate so far, and it's something that we're just moving ahead with. But we're always looking for new people, including now, and we didn't really ever put on any sort of freeze. We actually hired 3 new people in the last few months, so we're lucky in that sense. But yeah, we're good. We're fortunate.
Great. Well, I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, it's definitely always nice to be able to share those positive anecdotes with students because it's just such a challenging time to be searching right now. So I appreciate you sharing. Looks like we have a question. So Caroline, I'm going to turn it over to you to check in on the questions that we have.
Hi, everyone. So our first question is from Samantha, and she is asking for advice on standing out as an applicant in sort of this challenging and new world of virtual interviews.
To me, there's nothing like being yourself. I think it's so important. And I know that we're all going to be scrambling for jobs, so we tend to all code switch to conform to what the organization might be looking for. But do you want to go to a company where you have to be someone different? So I just think be yourself. Show up as who you are and the way you think and the way you talk, and hopefully they will find what they need in you. But that's what makes me feel good. I mean, our culture, we have, like I said, we're hiring for the culture. So self-care is a big part of our culture, being a team player, hardworking, entrepreneurial, not afraid of risk. Those are all parts of the things that I look for. But I'm also looking to complete the family. I spend 6 hours plus with these people every day. And so I want to be able to like you. I mean, maybe I have a little bit more flexibility because I'm a theater and we tend to attract theatrical or at least sort of vibrant people, but I certainly don't want someone who doesn't fit the family.
I'll jump in from Michael's comment, just that idea of kind of being yourself. I think something I've been kind of doing interviews right now for our next year of the internship program. And something that's really struck out to me is when students aren't afraid to say, like, this has been really hard, or afraid to be vulnerable or candid about kind of, what it's like working in a pandemic. I'm, feel very lucky that so many of my colleagues and my boss especially has modeled, a really healthy workplace for us during this time, that like, it's okay if you have a really hard day and you just need to step away and go take a walk or go hug your dog, or, remember that we are still working in a global pandemic and a very stressful year as a country. And I think just being, candid about that, just to show that we're all human and you don't have to be this perfect robot of a candidate that, like, of course I can perfectly handle remote work, because none of us are perfectly handling it. It's really hard. Yeah.
So I was going to say, those are all really great points. I actually like honestly think the biggest uphill battle is getting the interview. I think once you're in the interview, like to Michael's point, like you're just going to be yourself. You don't want to force something that's not going to fit. So, I would hope that like a recruiter, especially for entry level talent, could see past nerves and would just try to look for who you are. So like, yes, if you're not the most amazing interviewer, I would hope that that doesn't hurt you. I think getting the interview is the really hard part. So my advice to that is, this is gonna sound ridiculous, but like stalk us, stalk other people, like build as many relationships as you possibly can. I remember being in college and people saying, oh, you need to network. I'm like, if I hear networking one more time, like I swear to God, I cannot take it. And I hated it. I was like, oh, it's so like forced and formal, but it really works. Like it really does. I have tons of students reach out to me, and maybe I'm not making a super strong, genuine connection with every single one of them, but I'm trying. I really am. And if you email me and you're like, hi, I'm really interested in becoming some kind of social analyst and working in social media world, I'll say, great. Find a job online at Ogilvy that you're interested in, give me the rec number, and I'm going to literally find out who that recruiter is and directly connect you. Like if I can't help you, I'm going to find someone that can. And that sounds really simple, but like most of the time, that's how people are getting jobs, by making those direct connections. Because there's just so many applications coming through for certain jobs. So I'd say just like stalk, BC alum, us, anyone. And I mean, use your brain. Like if you're coming off annoying and you're following up a third time, maybe don't send that third email, but find people you can build those genuine relationships with, and then I think the rest will kind of fall from there. When you are interviewing, so for example at Ogilvy, I was talking about how we do these assessment centers. We also just do other like regular interviews, but usually we always try to do behavioral based questions. So we'll try to like ask consistent questions across candidates and assess on those behaviors. And I think anywhere you can give specific examples is really great. So if someone's like, tell me about a time where you showcase leadership in a group setting. Oh my God, my dog is like literally slamming his face on my daughter's head right now. This is my life. I thought you guys might laugh at that. Anytime, so like someone says, tell me about a time you were a leader in a group setting. If you can't think of something that comes right away, make it up. I don't know any better. I don't know what you did in group settings. Just think about the behavior that you want to portray and how you could showcase that with this specific example. Anytime you give me something tangible to remember, I find it really helpful, versus just saying like, I believe a leader should showcase X, Y, and Z. I want to know how you've implemented it before. I hope that helps.
Yeah, to that point, I mean, I can say for myself, we're looking for everyone just to bring their true self out, really, and we're accepting if someone's nervous. I can speak for myself. When I started in this business and I started my first company, kind of what Michael's saying, like I sort of felt like I had to change my code or code share, whatever the cool phrase you use. I felt like I had to morph into somebody that I wasn't. Like they expected me to be this sort of Hollywood slickster guy, which obviously I'm not, and yell at my assistant and wear a black suit and drive a black BMW. And I thought that's how you had to sort of do that. And I got to a point where it's like, I don't know if this business is for me, only because I felt like I had to become something that I wasn't, and frankly, I didn't want to be. When I left that company, I realized like I sort of, could only succeed in this business if I was myself. And I have done it by being my quirky self and working with people that are kind to others and not feeling like I have to have this shark-like mentality and still be successful in this business. But I think, with Erika and talking about networking, which is what my dad for all the years growing up, he's like, Pete, you got to network, got to network. Yes, Dad. It is very important. And I think there are people like us that want to help young people out of school. I mean, I think it's very daunting sometimes to feel like if you don't know anyone in the entertainment business or to get your foot in the door, but we want to help you guys. So, and there are other people like us that, it's important to figure out if you can have an in through somebody. But I think generally the people that I know and that I work with, we want to help others succeed, truly. And so there are people in all different industries that want to do that. So it's reaching out to those people. But I very much am one to say, lean into whatever makes you unique and different. And even if it's something you're not proud of, that's okay, because you want to be able to be free at wherever you're working and be yourself. So, make sure that you really are being your true self in the interview.
Great, thank you so much. So I'm going to throw another question out to you all. Could you talk about either entry-level positions or sort of those early career pathways for each of your areas or organizations and what that looks like?
I can go. For a lot of for what I do, and I represent actors, so I manage their careers and get them auditions and jobs and negotiate contracts and all that stuff. So a lot of us in at my company, we also have people that represent writers and directors. We have producers. We have people that represent book authors, like Dennis Lehane is one of our clients. And all of those people, all of us that do that, we have an assistant. So they are on all of our calls. They schedule, they talk to the clients a lot. They're sort of listening into everything. That's sort of the entry level way, the path of what happens a lot in this business. Even to get an assistant position, though, sometimes we look to someone that has some experience. So what we've been doing recently, really building out our intern program. And what I want to say is sort of like with that is, it's something that people find that they can do while they're still in school, and at least have some experience and some intern experience on their resume, that then they can get an assistant position, because it is hard just to even get that first position. But for us, really the first step would be getting an assistant position to be on someone's desk, as they call it. And that's how you really get all the knowledge and can be promoted from that position.
And I can jump in and share a little bit about, in museums, kind of the typical entry level position is usually, like a departmental coordinator or an administrator. That's kind of how I first started my work at the museum. And, for a lot of those positions, so what we're really trying to do in museums in general, is to make sure that we don't have certain education requirements or requirements for those positions that can show any type of bias, economic bias or cultural bias, anything like that for hiring those positions. But, at the same time, for those positions themselves, I think the thing that's really valuable to have is just always kind of in your mind of like what that next step is going to be for you, how that's going to help you get to that next role, and always kind of keeping in mind those transferable skills that you're gaining in that position. I can say that when I had my first role at the Gardner Museum, where I was the cataloger and administrator, I knew that that was not where I wanted to obviously, end my career search. I knew that it was going to kind of be the step to get me to that next spot. And so, in that kind of entry level position, I was always looking for taking on more responsibility, trying new things, trying to carve out my own individual version of what that entry level position was, so that wherever I went next, I would have this pocket full of experiences that I could apply to any type of role, even if that wasn't in a museum. Because as some of you may know, if you're kind of looking at museum careers, they're really few and far between. So kind of keeping those options open and always trying to gather those transferable skills that you can use really anywhere, I think is a really important part of the process.
Caroline, do you mind repeating the question? Screaming baby was
Sure.
happening while you're doing that.
Yeah, no problem. So the question was just sort of about early pathways into a career at your organization, and maybe some examples of that,
Sure.
even if there are things that students may not necessarily think of when they think advertising and what that looks like.
Yes. So what I want to say first is you do not need to have an advertising, marketing, comms background to go into an ad agency. I'm like one of the traditional people that was studying advertising, went into it, but we've hired people from economics backgrounds, political science, comms, marketing. We've had a nursing major go through our program. It's really like across the board, because so much of it you can learn in the moment. I think the right people are people who are interested in both creative and business. I, for example, wanted to be in graphic design. I studied art direction specifically, but then quickly realized in my studies, I really liked being in the creative field, but I wasn't getting the joy as much as I thought I would in sitting there and actually making the designs. I just liked working with the creative people, managing the project. So that's what led me to client services. So I think people who are interested in the creative field, but also care about the business and selling clients' work and supporting their business plans is really important. I think that makes you a really well-rounded candidate for advertising. And I think it's sometimes hard to put your finger on what that is. I remember it was kind of an aha moment for me. For like, in terms of like entry-level roles that you can have at Ogilvy, I mean, it really runs the gamut. We're a full service agency, so we can give you entry-level roles in client services, which is like the main liaison between the internal teams and the clients. It's like a project management style position. It has to be someone who really likes relationships, someone who likes to kind of have their hands in everything and kind of run the project and be that central person. We have entry-level roles in production, so like the physical production of the work, whether that's TV, radio, video, social, print, whatever. We have employee experience and more like digital UX focused projects. We have strategy positions. It's, for some weird reason, it's kind of hard to get an entry-level role in strategy within the ad world. I don't know why. We funnel most of our junior strategists through our associates program, the rotational program. There's consulting. We have an internal consulting firm actually within the agency, which is pretty unusual. So it really spans a lot of areas. And then creative, of course, art direction, copywriting, design, things like that. So you can really apply to any entry-level role within those areas. And we always post on careers.ogilvy.com. But you can always join as an intern as well, just to get a feel for it. And then, I mean, obviously my preference is the associates program because that's what I went through and that's what my job is. It's just such a special way to see the different parts of the company, but get a very hands-on experience. I partner really closely with all of the associates, but it's a very competitive program. So I understand it's not going to be the right fit for everyone. And some people know what they want right out of school. So I think there's a lot of different ways. Just explore the options.
Yes, certainly internships and apprenticeships as well. Apprenticeships for those theater artists that want to learn from someone who's been in the industry for a while. If you're an artist, a theater artist, we have tons of short-term gigs. I mean, I hire maybe 100, 120 artists a year. So there's always work there. Outside of that, if you're a creative person, there's always entry-level positions for theater education and production. If you are a people person, we have rotating gigs as house managers that get to sort of help interface frontline with the patrons that come in. And those kinds of positions can lead to development fundraising. Many of them can lead to marketing if you're a people person. Then or audience engagement sort of work. And then if you love administration, there's box office staff that has to do a lot of database work. Administration is that's a good position to do if you want to do fundraising. And then ultimately you can get to sort of general manager or managing director roles. But there are entry-level positions at all those places. Again, a theater company like mine that has a staff of 11, there's not a lot of open positions that are available. But this year I hired a lot of people because we were in the midst of transition, but who knows what will happen in the next year or so.
Great, thank you. And Salome, do we have time for one more question maybe? Okay, so I'm gonna sort of combine two questions. The first part of it is for all of you, and this is, you could just answer this briefly. How important is graduate school to you, or sort of advanced studies in your field? And then sort of the second part related would be for students that might be trying to break into your industry. They don't really have experience. Maybe they've done something on campus as a club, or maybe they just don't have anything professional yet. How can they best represent themselves? And I know for some of you, like you may not necessarily hire someone who doesn't have that internship yet, or like maybe you just don't have anything entry level open, but what's the way that student can sort of maybe get in with you or best represent themselves as they apply?
You know, the theater is a craft, and so it's not, you don't have to have an advanced degree to be successful in the craft. I have none. So you can, as long as you have those skills, that's all that matters. All of my training was done in trade schools and in, you know, strip mall dance academies with lots of glitter lotion. So you can learn the skills of being a theater artist without getting an advanced degree. You just need to have that imagination, passion, tenacity, and determination to at least master the craft. It's like shoemaking. Like, you know, you can't make great shoes if you haven't trained to be a shoemaker, but you don't have to have an advanced degree in shoemaking. You just have to train with someone that can teach you the proper skills.
So I can speak for advertising. So I do not have a graduate degree either. And like, sorry for anyone who is doing it on the phone, but like, to me, it really doesn't matter. Like, great if you have one, but it definitely doesn't make you like an absolute must for us. Like I said, so much of it you can learn on the job. And honestly, I want you to learn so much of it. Like I remind the new hires in our programs to just like kind of start from the ground up again, because like I remember being in school and being like, I know everything about advertising, I'm gonna kill it. And then I got there and was like, wow, I knew nothing. Everything has to be done in the client's way. Everything has to be done in the Ogilvy way. Like you really want to relearn things. So to me, I don't think that's as important. For kind of breaking into the industry, if you don't have past experience, even if it's just like you want to land your first internship and you only have, like I sort of read one of the comments, like restaurant experience or, you know, jobs that aren't formal internships, own it. Like to me, someone who can show the transferable skills from that to how it would work at Ogilvy is so impressive and so valuable. You're probably going to learn so much more in like those real world jobs than like an internship where we're showing you exactly the way, right? So I think like if you can own that and just again, pull out those behaviors that you want to highlight and those skills and find a tangible example of why that would matter in the ad world, you're fine. Like great. Anytime you can show leadership, management, working with others, relationship building, being put in a position that you didn't think you'd be put in, and how you navigated that adaptability. That's huge. I really think that you should play that up. And I think it kind of goes back to what people were saying of like, don't force your resume for a certain role. Don't force your presence for a certain interview. Own what you've done and make it something as a selling point. Honestly, like I joked before, like I have no idea what your background is. You're telling me, so I'm going to believe whatever you tell me. So just be really confident and you'll sell it.
Yeah, and I can jump into kind of about that graduate degree question. So I think an exciting thing that's happening in museums now is that value of that graduate degree is actually getting a little smaller. It's happening slowly, but I do think it's happening. And my kind of advice for anybody who is considering that, you know, speaking from someone who had a pretty much really, you know, straight and narrow path to the career that I'm in now, the only way I was able to go to graduate school was under a full scholarship. And if I didn't receive that, that wasn't going to be my path. I knew that I was like, that's the only way I was going to be able to do that. I didn't have the ability to kind of take on debt and go into a field that I knew I wasn't going to get paid a lot of money entering into. So that's kind of something that I'll kind of, that piece of advice that I always give any student who's considering grad school, especially in something like art history. But I want to say too, kind of like what Erika was saying, that transferable skills that you can take from any other role is so much more valuable, I think. And really, you know, that is what really makes candidates stand out. If you have that, like you said in that example, that restaurant experience in this internship program that I manage, I love to see when people have customer service experience, restaurant experience. I know that that means they can think on their feet. I know that means they can, you know, work really hard to get something done. They can work with a team. They're great at customer service of, you know, talking to visitors in the museum itself. So those are skills that I really think you should play up, just like Erika was saying. Yeah.
Yeah, and for us in the entertainment business and in specifically in representation, it's graduate degree is certainly not necessarily, I don't actually know anyone that does have it, but I'm sure people do. And, you know, because it's so much on the job, you have to learn, just like what everyone else is saying. If you have certain skills that are related from other fields, you know, hugely important for us is multitasking and not and frankly, grace under pressure is really important to us, because there's a lot of pressure situations, and there's sort of a lot of different personalities that you come across. So you have to sort of be adaptable and work with different personalities. But and in terms of, you know, getting your foot in the door with certain things, it's again, I would stress being, you know, looking for temp opportunities and internships, which is really really helpful. But I think for us, I mean, how we're looking at people, even, I think for our assistant positions, we're not necessarily, and we've definitely hired assistants that haven't come from the entertainment business. So it's not, there's no real tried and true rule that we follow. It's finding someone that really feels like, they want it, and we feel like they're capable. They can bob and weave and make adjustments, because every day is so different, and what our business is, that it's not, you can't learn it anyway. I mean, you have to sort of do it to learn it. And it's more about sort of your skills as a person that I think will set you apart. So if there's certain skills that in whatever you're doing in other jobs, just like the other people have said, I think those are the ones to stress. I mean, that's from our point of view.
Thank you all. This was really helpful.
Yeah, thank you so much for answering those questions. I feel like that was just so insightful, and it's so great to hear from the experts. As a career coach, I give a lot of the same advice, and even for me, it's reassuring to hear from the folks that do the hiring that this advice is on point, and to hear from you. So we have just about 5 minutes left, so I just wanted to leave a few minutes in case you have any last minute advice, or if there's anything else that you wanted to bring up to share with our students and recent alumni. I just wanted to leave a little space for that. So if anyone's got anything else they want to share, feel free to jump in.
Take care of yourself. I mean, I have a huge self-care practice, and it's getting me through this rough time. The other thing I will say is that students, I'm sorry that we didn't make the world better like we thought we would. I'm sorry we actually probably even made it worse. Hopefully we can fix some of the stuff before you become the leaders of our country, but demand and ask for what you want, because right now we need you guys to fix the planet for your children. So ask for what you want from your schools, ask for what you want from your people who are older than you. It's your planet, and you deserve everything you want. So be bold, be brave, be innovative, and change it and fix it, because like I said, we didn't.
Well, I will not be as profound as that, because that was beautiful, and I'm not really sure how I'm supposed to follow that up. I mean, you're in theater, so it's not fair. But I can give you some more tangible advice if you want. For right now, I was just kind of laughing to myself, Salome, as you said, from the experts, because I think something to remember is we aren't experts. We just got lucky enough and fortunate enough to have some experience in the field, but we're just human beings, and we actually just want what is best for you. So when you're talking to recruiters and people from companies, remember that half the battle is building a genuine relationship with them. It's really, really important. And I joke that after an interview, if I want to become that person's friend, then I think I did, I think they did pretty well. And of course, without a bias, right? I just mean I built a connection with them. I can see myself working with them. I can see them doing really well in the culture. It's super important. So just keep that in the back of your head. We're not experts. We're just here to learn more about you, because we're hoping that you'll join us. We're not talking to you unless we're hoping that. So we're all kind of on the same team in that way. And just keep knocking down people's doors. So like Michael said, the ball's in your court. Make as many relationships as you can, talk to as many people as you can, and just keep figuring out what you want and go after it. An opportunity will come. It can be exhausting, but it can be really rewarding.
I'll say that when I was out of school and I didn't have a job right away, and frankly a couple of years didn't have a permanent job, and I put so much pressure on myself saying I'm 23 or 24 or 25, whatever it was, and I have to figure it out. I got it. I got to start. I was so convinced that I had to, my dad had a long career at General Motors, and I was so convinced that I had to sort of have it all worked out at that age. But looking back, I didn't have to, and a lot of people make changes. You don't have to feel like whatever you're doing now, whatever you want to do now, it's going to be your long-learned 30, 40-year career. And so take that pressure off for yourself. And because I'm seeing now a lot of people make career changes, well into, definitely past 23, 24. So I think it's good to sort of understand that your desires might change in 5 years or 10 years, and not to put that pressure on yourself that you have to have it all figured out, which I did to myself. And, I shouldn't have, looking back, but I did. And it drove me crazy. I really thought I had to have it all figured out and be on some, path of building the ladder up. so take that pressure off of yourself and know that these days, you know, making career changes and going into different areas happens all the time with people, and at all different ages. The one thing I'll say about the entertainment business, which I think is so fantastic, is that, you know, pretty much whatever you want to do or whatever you're skilled at, there's a job for you in our business. There's, you know, if you're into law, you can be a business affairs at a studio. There's obviously set decorating. There's, you know, working on productions, which are really fantastic. Working with actors and writers, and there's all these different aspects to the business that I think really embrace everyone's whatever they want to do. So if you're interested in this business and you're excited to, you know, live in New York, live in LA, where the businesses are really thriving, I'd say there's probably, you know, a job for you that's out there that you'd really enjoy. And it doesn't have to be, again, for the rest of your life. It could just be something that you're doing for a little bit for now until you figured it out. Because I didn't have it all figured out, and until I did. I still don't, actually. There you go. I'm still wondering what I should be doing with my life.
And I'll just jump in and add, just seek work relationships that are built on trust and transparency, especially in the mentors, especially in the people that you kind of continue to have relationships with after you go past a position. That's my kind of biggest piece of advice. I'll pass it back.
Thank you all so much. As I mentioned, you know, we had a busy week of programming for our Career Week in Arts and Entertainment, and I think this was just such a great way to end the week with such tangible advice. And I hope, you know, the participants feel fired up and ready to be networking and applying and all of that. So, you know, on behalf of the Career Center, the Arts Council, and the McMullen Museum, we are so grateful that you're a part of our Career Week. And, you know, I know you're all super busy, so thank you so much for your time. Yeah, we really appreciate you, and thanks for all of your insight.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so
you so
much.
much.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.